Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for requesting this private session that Judy and I are going to do to demonstrate EFT and what it can be used on. So I'm actually really excited because Judy brought forward a phobia, fear, whatever we want to call it, that has recently developed for her. And we're going to do some tapping on it today. And I'm not sure how many of you are going to have this same phobia or fear, but I think you could probably interchange this with other things that are bothering you. So if you're listening to this recording and you don't resonate with the same fear or phobia, just insert yours and change the words around a little bit. And I think you're still going to get a lot of value out of doing this along with us. So what we're going to be doing is a single round of EFT. In my normal client sessions, we normally get in somewhere between 3 to 6 rounds of EFT in a session. So this is just a sampling of kind of the power of this. And the fear or phobia that Judy wanted to talk about today was of the car wash. So you said this is something that's recently come up for you?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. And can you tell me a little bit about how you feel when you enter the car wash or get to the car wash? When does the anxiety come for you? Like, is it on your way there? Is it once you get there?
It's kind of when I pull onto the property and I'm like, okay, now I have to drive like perfectly. And I have to make sure that like nobody hits me from behind in this line. And I'm okay while I'm driving, but like once I hand control over to the putting the car like on that, I call it a chassis. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But you drive up and your car gets on this thing and then you put it in neutral and something else is driving, not me. So to me, that's terrifying.
Okay. What does that feel like in your body? Like, do you feel it in
Um,
your chest? Do you feel it in your heart? Where do you feel it? What's it feel like?
I can feel like the pounding in my heart and like my mouth gets dry. I can feel pounding in my heart and just like my shoulders go up to my ears. Everything gets tense.
Okay. And what's it like when you're in the car wash? Is that the
And
same, or does it get worse when you're inside of it?
I think, no, it doesn't get any worse. Actually, once I get through that initial part, I'm like, okay, I can do this. I made it through like that getting started. And then at the end, I'm like, okay, now I have to pull out before the car behind me like hits me.
Okay. Does that happen there, or is that just something you're imagining would happen? Like, is it
At
common?
the end, it doesn't happen, but I will tell you at the beginning, it happened to my father, and I think this is why I used to give everyone car wash coupons for Christmas. I would buy them the little books. They could get their cars washed whenever they wanted.
Yeah.
And my father went, and I think the person in front of him put their car in reverse and smashed into him. And so it did happen. I mean, it only happened
Like,
once.
instead of putting it in neutral, they put it in
They
reverse.
put it in reverse, right? And they crashed into him. And so that's kind of like where I got that idea from. It was
Did
like,
that happen when you were an adult, or did that happen like many, many years ago?
no, I was an adult.
Okay.
But he did say to me it was my car wash coupon that did it. And I'm like, well, I wasn't driving. You were.
You got blamed.
I did get, I don't know if he was probably joking, but my brain is so literal, it wasn't funny. Yeah.
Yeah. So did you actually did you feel embarrassed or humiliated that like this happened with your coupon,
Yeah, I did.
or like ashamed that that was the gift you gave and then his car got rear-ended or
Yeah.
backed into
Front end,
or
whatever.
rear-ended?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That and did the how much time elapsed between that happening and you starting to get phobic about it?
I can't really pinpoint it. It might have been a little more gradual than that. You know, I didn't drive as nice a car back then, but I think once I started driving a nicer car, I had a little more anxiety about it.
Okay.
I'm
Out of
laughing because
out of
it's funny, but
curiosity,
it's
did your
real.
dad also drive a nice car?
He drove an okay car. He drove like your average car. Yeah.
I was
You
just
know.
wondering if that had anything to do with it, like the negative feelings from that incident happening and then you having the phobia or the fear now.
But it was his car, so it was important to him. Yeah,
Right. Yeah. Okay. So the anxiety is happening when you're pulling onto the property. getting the pounding heart. Does anything else happen? Does it, after you leave the car wash, does it go away immediately?
It goes away when I leave. Actually, in like the last 2 years, I've only been to the car wash once. I forced myself to go like 3 months ago. And I was going to
Okay.
go every month or every week, but I didn't.
That was my next question, was how often do you go, or does it keep you from going?
It keeps me from going.
Okay. All right. All right. Let's see if we can dig into that a little bit. This will be good. And this is probably one of those things. I mean, I think we could probably make some pretty great progress with this one round, but I think normally this would probably take a session. Like, like we would work more deeply, and I'll get into more of what that is after we're done this to see what happens. But the first thing that we want to do when we're doing a round of EFT is assess how we're feeling. Now, obviously we're not at the car wash right now, but if you were to imagine yourself there and try to like get into the feeling, because I want you to hold that feeling as well as you can throughout this and really be focused on it.
Mm-hmm.
0 would be like, I'm not stressed at all. And 10 would be totally stressed out. Where do you feel like you are on that scale when you think about being at the car wash?
Oh, probably, I'm going to say a 6.
Okay. And again, I can't expect it to be as high as it would be if you're there, because the
Yeah.
reality of it is, you're
Mm-hmm.
staying at your home and things are not around you and there's no other cars. So, all right. So what we're going to do is like follow the leader. Have you had enough to drink this morning? I always say, make sure you're hydrated if
Mm-hmm.
tapping. Okay. Same goes to the listeners. That energy's got to be able to move. And when you're dehydrated, it just stays stuck most of the time.
No, I've had a
And
liter and a half of water.
awesome. And then throughout the rest of the day, just make sure you stay hydrated so that things can keep moving. I always say this is kind of like peeling an onion. Like a round of EFT kind of removes a layer, but then it exposes and kind of brings to the surface what the next thing is. So it elevates your consciousness, and you might have some great aha moments or things throughout the day that are better facilitated by staying hydrated. So we're going to start on the side of the hand right here. This is called the karate chop point. And the points that we're going to tap through are, it doesn't matter which hand, you can do either one. You're going to tap with one hand on the side of the other on that karate chop point. And then we're going to move through other points as we go, including the top of the head, the eyebrow, the side of the eye, under the nose, under the mouth, the collarbone, which is actually below the collarbone. Like my collarbone's here. The collarbone point is more like in the meaty kind of chest area. And then under the arm, which is pretty much the area where like a bra strap would wrap around the side of your body.
Okay.
So those are the spots that we're going to do, and you're just going to follow me. And I might take you through some eye movements or some finger tapping too, but we'll see where things go. I always kind of intuitively gauge where these go as they're going and make sure that we keep it relevant. So we're going to start on the side of the hand. And again, just keep those feelings about the car wash as top of mind as you're able to. Even though I have this fear of going to the car wash, you're going to repeat after me.
Oh, even though I have this fear of going to the car wash,
I want to love, accept, and forgive myself.
I want to love, accept, and forgive myself.
Even though I am not sure why this bothers me so much,
Even though I'm not sure why this bothers me so much,
but I really don't want to go.
but I really don't want to go.
I honor these feelings and accept myself anyway.
I honor these feelings and accept myself anyway.
Even though I would really like to avoid the car wash,
Even though I would really like to avoid the car wash.
I don't like how I feel when I go there.
I don't like how I feel when I go there.
And I'm afraid something bad is going to happen.
And I'm afraid something bad is going to happen.
I love, accept, and forgive myself.
I love, accept, and forgive myself.
Now we're going to start moving through those other points. All this anxiety about going to the car wash.
All of this anxiety about going to the car wash.
It starts when I pull into the parking lot.
It starts when I pull into the parking lot.
And it just gets worse.
And it just gets worse.
I do not like handing over control.
I do not like handing over control.
I don't like the feeling of the car driving without me being the one driving it.
I don't like the feeling of the car driving without me being the one to drive it.
My heart starts to pound.
My heart starts to pound.
My mouth gets dry.
My mouth gets dry.
My shoulders tense up.
My shoulders tense up.
And it feels awful.
And it feels awful.
So I don't want to go back to the Delta Sonic.
So I don't want to go back to the Delta Sonic.
And I used to give their gift cards every year.
And I used to give their gift cards every year.
And maybe it's because my dad got somebody that hit him while he was in line.
And maybe it's because my dad got hit by when he was in line.
Sorry, I didn't word that very well. And I felt so guilty because I sent him there.
And I felt so guilty because I sent him there.
I felt so embarrassed and ashamed that it was my car wash coupon.
I felt so embarrassed and ashamed because it was my car wash coupon.
And now I think part of me feels like it's going to be my turn.
And now I feel like part of me feels like it's going to be my turn.
How can I continue to escape being hit by cars?
How can I continue to escape being hit by cars?
Maybe I feel like my karma is going to get me.
Maybe I feel like my karma is going to get me.
And I feel really tense when I get in that line.
And I feel really tense when I get in that line.
I'm open to the idea that my dad's situation had nothing to do with me.
I'm open to the idea that my dad's situation had nothing to do with me.
He could have gotten backed into at any car wash at any time.
He could have gotten backed into at any car wash at any time.
And even though he got backed into, he's still fine.
And even though he got backed into, he was still fine.
I'm guessing your dad's passed.
Yes.
Sorry. Little pieces I should have gathered in the beginning.
It's okay.
Sorry. He was still fine.
He was still fine.
All right. I'm open to the idea that it's safe to hand over that control momentarily.
I am open to the idea that it's safe to hand over that control momentarily.
Probably a lot safer than me trying to drive through the car wash.
Probably a lot safer than me trying to drive through the car wash.
And I realized that in all my years of going to the car wash, I've never had any major problems myself.
And I realized that in all my years of going to the car wash, I've never had any major problems myself.
It's safe to let go of this anxiety about going to the car wash.
It's safe to let go of this anxiety about going to the car wash.
Just like it's safe to let go of the wheel when I'm at the car wash.
Just like it's safe to let go of the wheel when I'm at the car wash.
Like all good things in life,
Like all good things in life,
sometimes we have to let go
sometimes we have to let go
in order to receive what we came to get.
in order to receive what we came to get.
And maybe the car wash is just a metaphor for that.
And maybe the car wash is just a metaphor for that.
All right, Judy, I want you to take a nice deep inhale through the nose. Hold your breath for just a second, and then exhale any of that remaining anxiety out through your mouth. And then I invite you to just tell me what came up for you as we tapped. And I'm so sorry about not knowing anything more about your dad and interjecting him in there.
Oh, that's okay, because it was a
I'm
long
sure his
time
spirit
ago.
was there chuckling along with us.
I'm sure he was laughing. And by the way, if he were alive today, he would be over 100. So it's not like, he had a very lovely, long and fulfilled life. So it was interesting how maybe that whole fear you mentioned what could be a metaphor for something else.
Yeah.
I found that interesting. Like, and if I could let go of that, maybe I'm letting go of something else.
Well, I mean, you go to get your car washed and then you're resisting and pushing against the very mechanism and means for that to come to fruition and manifest. So, and that happens with all sorts of things in our life where we say we want one thing and then we keep pushing against it and pushing against it instead of just letting go of the oars and going with the flow of the stream, you know?
What's funny is, I know you talk about, professional women, and sometimes there's things I just need to do in my business that it's like, I want to do it. I need to do it. It has to get done, but then I don't do it.
Yeah.
And that's what I was thinking of when you said the metaphor. It's like the whole procrastination thing. Well, why don't you do it? I don't know.
Well, usually it's because it's not familiar, and it's not comfortable. And we get a lot more comfortable with the things that we know, even if they're not serving us and even if they're not getting us the result that we want, than we do when we go out on a limb and try something new. So our inner protector, our inner saboteur will get us into that self-sabotage state. And it's totally a protection mechanism. And in a lot of ways, it's served us very well throughout our lives. So it's a matter of recognizing it, thanking them or it or whatever it is for all that they've been doing for you all your life, and then taking the responsibility to move on from there and allowing that inner passion to be ignited so that you don't procrastinate and you don't stay stuck. And yeah, it's no different with going to the car wash. So if you had to go to the car wash right now, where do you feel like you are on that scale of 0 to 10? You were at a 6 before.
Yeah, I think I could probably maybe get through it like a 4.
Yeah, good.
I don't think
Does
I
your
would
car
say,
need to be washed?
actually, yes.
It would be a great time to experiment with it. You could even come back and record a little extra thing for your podcast and let them know how it went. But here's what I would do if you were going to go get your car washed. When you're getting ready to go, or right when you turn in the line, I don't know, is the line normally kind of long? Do you normally have to wait like 5 or 10 minutes before you're actually getting into the...
On a sunny day, yes. If
So
it's
if
a
you're
dry,
waiting in
sunny
that
day.
line, you could be tapping and, just assess how you're feeling beforehand and then try, even though I don't like how I feel at the car wash, I love, accept, and forgive myself. And you can go through like, I still don't want to be here. I really don't like it. And then you can talk to the areas that aren't feeling good. There goes my heart racing. There's, I can feel my shoulders creeping up. Like, just describe those things. And then by the time you get into that third time around, maybe if you're feeling it, if you're not genuinely feeling it, don't try to force it. But like, open to the idea that it's going to be okay. It's safe for me to enter the car wash. I think everything is going to be all right. I can do this, like that kind of thing. Give yourself that little pep talk to seal the deal there, and then give yourself a nice deep breath and see if that makes a difference. I would love to hear the results of that experiment.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And yeah, and if you have stuff that's still left, that's exactly where the work has to go next. Like if we were in a session, it would be like, okay, because at the heart of this, Judy, is some kind of a fear of your own mortality.
Yeah.
And there's potentially more to dig into. There's always more to dig into, but it's like, if this little bit of work doesn't make a huge difference, there's some definite layers to work deeper into. So
it's really interesting.
But you just got homework. Sorry, I just piled up on your week some
I
extra
know.
homework to do. But
Isn't that funny?
whether you do it now or later, I would love to hear about it whenever you get back to the Delta Sonic and give it a try. And I thank all of you for tapping along with us and, and coming through this process with us. And whether you're, phobic about heights or spiders or needles or whatever else, you can see how this same process could be applied to any of those things. So if you've done this along with us, or gosh, especially if you have a car wash phobia, like how cool would that be to hear about? Definitely send me an email, Theresa@theresalearlevine.com, and tell me about your experiences. I love, love, love to hear about people's aha moments and breakthroughs with this. It makes my day. And I thank you for tapping along with me and so vulnerably sharing about your phobia and fears, Judy. That was very brave, and you did a great job.
Wow. Thank you very much.